Got my Mothership shirt on, although I learned a while ago that, when you collect shirts from bars, don't wear that shirt to the bar, because then people start asking you for drink recipes to clean their up after them, to show them where the bathroom code is. Yeah. People think you work there sometimes.
Well, you know what's funny? One time I was at Don the Beachcomber down at Huntington Beach, and they had the servers, and they were all wearing Aloha shirts. And it just so happened I had the same type of Aloha shirt. So I did the exact opposite. I went up to these tables, and I was like, yeah, hey, just checking to see how you guys are doing. You guys having a good time here today at the Don the Beachcomber? All right. And they're like, yeah, we're having a great time. All right, cool. I'll be right over there. And I go over, I sit down on my tail with my friends. I'm like,
get any tips?
I wish so. I should do it more often. All right. Hi, my name is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray. And today, Stephen and I, we think we have found the future of tiki bars. And it's a tiki bar that's in San Diego. And it's called Mothership.
And it's not a tiki bar.
And it's not a tiki bar. And that's the reason why we're going to talk about this unique bar. I mean, because I've never been to anything like this. So, Stephen, what is Mothership? So,
Mothership is in South Park neighborhood of San Diego.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a speakeasy, because it's on an older adobe building that reminds me in miniature of a Southwestern train station, almost. The exterior of it.
The facade looks like a storefront that's been closed up. Yeah. It doesn't look anything like anything.
Oh, no.
Because I remember when I walked up to it, I'm like, this is it.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
And there's people standing in line. I'm like, it looks like we're a bunch of people waiting to get inside To me, it looked like an abandoned storefront.
Yeah.
But
it is a outer space theme bar, as if a spaceship had crashed on a strange planet, and that the ceiling of the craft is open to the sky of this alien world.
Yes.
And the bar itself looks like you're inside a ship with, and it's covered head to toe with thematic elements. I don't think there's an inch that's out of place with the theme. It is, so for those of you who've ever been in Disney World in Florida or Disneyland in California, the
Uga's Cantina.
Yeah. It is as if Uga's Cantina had an adult-only speakeasy, that you go from Uga's, which is cavernous and like you're in the Star Wars bar, and that you suddenly slipped into an intimate adult spacecraft version of that. That's kind of what it reminded me of. And Mothership is, even if you love Uga's Cantina, Mothership is the experience there, and especially the drinks there, are even far superior to Uga's Cantina. It is, what else can I say about it? It is immersive, everything about it. You can describe the bathrooms, which is one of your favorite elements.
Yeah, well, just like Steven said, it's like, essentially, from what I understand, it's a spaceship that crashed on this planet. So in theory, part of the bar is you're in the spaceship, although parts of it would have been broken open out into this alien planet. So you get one side, and depending on where you sit, you feel like you're in a spaceship. And then other places, it feels like you're outside in this alien world with its own vegetation and little hills and stuff like that. The bathrooms are a complete nod to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And essentially, it's taken from the scene where Hal's being shut down, where where Dave's turning off his brain, and there's like, so it's like you go in, and all it is just like the red
panel lights,
and then that's the entire bathroom. Both of them. There's two of them. One's a little bit bigger than the other. But and the thing is, like, I love the bathrooms. I was just thinking to myself, it's like, you can make the bathroom its own bar, and I would think it would be cool. One thing that I found interesting is that the music that they played, not surf music, not exotica, not Hawaiian music, but they played this like its own. If almost like if exotica was made in space,
it's spacey techno,
yes, not
exotica jazz. It was, and I should have researched it. They sell albums of it.
Yes.
When I was there, they were on their 4th album, and I don't know if the same person had done all of the music.
Yeah.
But it's specially commissioned for them. So it's spacey, exotica, industrial, but not overly thumpy industrial.
No.
It's a great balance.
The type of the music that I listened to or that I heard there, the emotional response is the same emotional response that you listen to when you listen to exotica. You know, it sounds exotic, but it's kind of relaxing, you know.
But it's much more modern and
it's very
spacey,
modern, like keyboards and stuff like
techno backbeats.
The closest thing I could compare it to is Martin Denny did an album where he did. No, I don't think it was Martin Denny. Maybe it was where everything is done on Moog synthesizers.
Oh, okay.
The drinks, I had a non-alcoholic drink. Essentially, it was like a non-alcoholic mojito. The drink menu looks like a repair manual for for the spaceship. And everyone and all the servers were wearing the shirt that Steven's wearing, which you can buy.
Mm-hmm. Which I did.
Yeah.
I didn't steal it.
It'd be funny if you did. That means you would have stole it from somebody.
Yeah, robbed them. Great staff, too. Great people.
Yeah.
And
how are your drinks? Like, what kind of? How would you describe the drinks you have?
The drinks are amazing. They are takeoff on Tiki drinks, but they have changed them and made them unique to make them their own.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things is there's a Gardena mix. What's the classic drink you make out of that?
The Pearl Diver.
Pearl Diver, yes. So their version of a Pearl Diver, which even comes in a pearl, served I think in a Pearl Diver glass. It's a vegan. Their food is vegan. And it's a vegan place, so rather than use butter for the Gardena mix, they have used their own recipes. And I'm not usually a big fan of Pearl Diver, but their version of it is one of the best drinks on the menu there. In fact, when I was at False Idol, and I was describing how much I love Mothership, one of the bartenders there said it was his favorite drink. And then when I asked the staff at Mothership, one of the bartenders at Mothership said that was her favorite drink. So despite that I'm not a big fan of a Pearl Diver, I had it, and it was an amazing drink.
Yeah.
But again, they've taken things like zombies and really put their own spin on it. So it's based on these drinks, but almost it's almost different, that it's its own unique drink. And as you know, I like that as well. I like to take the classics and put a big spin on them, or even change them up, and that's what they've done here. And so they were all excellent. I've been there for 2 nights and drank my way through quite a bit of the menu. And,
did you really?
Oh yeah. Thank God for Uber, so I didn't have to drive.
One thing that we haven't talked about is no tikis in this place. In fact, nothing like a tiki in it. No thatch, no bamboo, no tapa cloth. In fact, I would say there is nothing Polynesian.
Oh no, it's a space bar. You are in outer space. It is from a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
no question about it.
But the reason why I wanted to make this video, outside of the fact that okay, it's a great bar, you should go check it out, is that the bar made me really think about in my opinion, where I think Tiki is going to go. And this is something that you and I have talked about before, where this Mothership is not a Tiki bar, but it's using the Tiki template. All the elements of a Tiki bar are there. The all-inclusive environment. You got these, were they mostly rum?
As I recall, mostly rum, but they were based on Tiki standards.
Yeah, it's relatively, like tropical type drinks.
Yeah.
You have this unique music playing that's relaxing.
You even have mugs, and this is
there's a mug.
By the way, this mug is beautiful. Online and in Instagram, I've seen this mug, and it didn't impress me. But when you look at it in person,
there's like the universe,
the skull screaming into the void.
Yeah, it's like there's the universe behind it.
It's beautiful when you actually see it in person.
Yeah. So there you go. It even has
mugs.
Even has mugs. Again, not Tiki. What did you used to say when you were talking about it? It's like you wish that there would be a better name for bars.
So when I was earlier this week when we decided to talk about this, I was scrolling through people's social media posts on Mothership and their reviews, their YouTube, and almost without fail, people say, "Oh, you've got to check out this amazing space Tiki bar in San Diego." And it's just like, but it's not. But it follows, as you said, the templates from the drinks to the mugs to the music to the. So, it's an immersive theme bar that I wish we had a name other than immersive theme bar. Because that doesn't come trippingly off the tongue, to describe the immersive bars that owe a lot to the classic Tiki bars, that owe a lot to the theme parks and theme bars, particularly Disney, because they've captured the essence of that. The thing I love about it is it's multi-generational in the sense of, you have to be 21 and over, but that younger people were there and older people like myself were there, and people who've grown up with media and social media and Disney and then those of us who've grown up with bars and Tiki bars. Immersive bars, you have to remember, have always been with us, because when we went to Los Angeles and talked about it, we were talking about the bars, like the bar that resembled the jail from the 1920s, especially in LA and Hollywood. And so Hollywood set designers designed immersive bars in Los Angeles. And Dom the Beachcomber wasn't the only one with a theme or an immersive bar going into Prohibition as well. Especially in Los Angeles and Southern California. But as you said, the Tiki template, especially with regard to the drinks, so that an immersive bar like this one owes some debt, even though they've taken it off and done exceptionally well with their drinks, to classic drinks, to the Saturns, to the Zombies, to the Pearl Divers of this world. And that's, to me, that's all the more amazing and gratifying. And the term Tiki has just evolved into this over-encompassing way of describing a theme bar. As I said, come back to, you check social media and everybody calls it a Tiki bar, even though there's nothing technically Tiki about it, as we've said, or Polynesian about it. They have taken that template and perfected it with the space theme, with the sci-fi theme, with the backstory, with every ounce of decorative element not out of place with the theme and story. The Tiki Tatsuya is the only other bar I can think of where every artifact in every inch of the walls is either fitting into the story, or they make those items fit into the story. That every ounce is consistent with it, which is pretty an amazing thing that you would only see at a at a Universal or Disney theme park, I think.
I did an interview with Jason Alexander talking about the H.P. Lovecraft connection to Devil's Reef. And the more, like, I just recently started reading his stuff, and I'm like, the more I thought about it, and the more I talked to Jason, it's sort of like, okay, yeah, really, ultimately, the Devil's Reef is more of an H.P. Lovecraft bar than it is a tiki bar. The reason why I'm going to call this episode, Mothership, the Future of Tiki Bars, is that I think this is going to be the future of tiki bars. You're going to see more bars being made that are fully immersive that aren't necessarily tiki. Right. Or we'll just borrow elements from it.
Or how about haunted house bars?
Yeah.
I'm
surprised there isn't many now as it is.
Well, and, well, we did see that in Vancouver, Canada, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think there were other
the Dark Manor.
Dark Manor, yeah. And the other thing I'll say is one of the things I like is, the home bars that put their spin on it, and whether or not they are tiki or want to call themselves tiki, I could care less. And so a lot of people have, not a lot, but when, in your experience, or you look at Tiki Tom Tom's book about home bars, the chapters on people putting their own spin on it. Mine, I'm very proud to say, is in the chapter of being eccentric.
Yeah.
And that there are, he's got a bar that is Star Wars themed with, I think, a combination of some more tiki-looking elements. Or Superman or Marvel comic, for those people that floats their boat, and they have a collection of things they want to show off. One other thing I'm hoping to do is there's this nerd cruise called the Joko Cruise, and they have these shadow events, meaning that people put on their own grassroots events, and the founders on this cruise help you put them on. And one of the things I want to do is give a talk on building a home bar, what I've learned in going to people's home bars, commercial bars, building bars, and taking the tiki template and giving it to people who, most of whom, despite being a nerd cruise, although there's a big appreciation for tiki bars, they are not, but there's a lot of people who say are Dungeon and Dragger or other gamers.
Yeah.
People who have a lot of like Renaissance fair and medieval type of, or post-medieval type of artifacts or costumes. And whether or not they want to serve alcohol, but building a bar has a display place or has a place to play your games in an immersive environment to take what you've got. And so what I'd like to do is take the things we've learned. So things like my lighting paradox rule, the more lights, the better, but the darker, the better, that paradox, and help people to take those templates, those rules or whatever you want to call them, or those learned lessons, so that people can enable them to build their own Dungeon and Dragon game playing space, to build their own craft room where people can also have drinks, to build a tea room a la, kind of a Disney Fantasia environment, if that's what they're into. It doesn't have to be a tiki bar, but the reason I go into this long digression is to bring it all the way back to what you said. The way I would approach it is to take the lessons learned from tiki bars, and then the lessons learned in putting my own spin on them and other people's spin on them, and distill them so that people can build their own immersive environment and take whatever floats their boat, whatever collections they have, whatever themes they have, and do something with it, and not be hung up on them building a tiki bar, but show them how to take the elements that we've learned from this tiki culture and put their own spin on it. And it doesn't have to be tiki, but we've certainly learned a lot thanks to what you call the playbook, right?
Yeah, the template.
The template, So yeah, and I think that's where Mothership is, and that's where I think more people who want and have the ability to make a home environment do it. Do what you want to do, and unfortunately, we're going to call them loosely Tiki bars, and again, they're really just immersive environments, but we owe the whole debt of gratitude to the template, the Tiki template. And again, Mothership is just an exceptional example of that. It is a relatively intimate yet spacey bar.
No pun intended.
Yeah, there you go. It was actually. And
pun intended.
Pun intended.
Want to support the Tiki with Ray show and look cool doing it at the same time? Then head over to tikiwithray.com and buy yourself a Tiki with Ray shirt. They're only $20. Tony Canepa did the design, and they're screen printed in America.